Engineer 775. Wanted to show you a selection of biomass stoves. I got about 8 of them here on this table, but this isn't all of them. And I'll show you the wood cook stove, obviously my wood boiler I've showed you before, the green egg. And so I just find it very important to have a variety of ways to cook. It's fun, whether it's camping out or if you need it long term for prepping. Some of the smaller stoves good for the bug out bag, like the Emberlit, the Firebox, even the wood gas camp stove. This little guy is pretty light. You have the BioLite you've seen. Prep stoves are getting bigger, and then the StoveTech's a big stove. The rocket stove. So you have the plain, the simple stoves that aren't gasified or there's no widgets on it, and that would be the Emberlit, the Firebox. And I also have my, the can stoves. A lot of you have made these stoves. They work great, and mine's my favorite is ravioli can inside of a number 10 can. That gives me the best fire. But and then there's ways to make electricity off of heat. Several of them that I like. In these 3, let me show you. The BioLite, of course, makes about 2 watts off of thermoelectric generator. The PowerPot will give you up to about 5 watts, and then the stovetop thermoelectric generator will give you about 30 watts. So 30, 5, and 2. And so that's and they can be used on any one of these stoves to make electricity. If you really need a light, or you need to charge your cell phone, or you need to charge a radio, whatever, they'll allow you to do that. The other accessories that you can put on stoves, I've got a pasteurizer down here for water. I've got a Coleman oven that I've used before, and then the canner, the All-American canners work really good on these stoves. So I'm going to fire these up here in a little bit. I just wanted to show you before the fire. So I don't know if I'm going to get all of them going simultaneously, but maybe we are. I got them going simultaneously. Again, from the simple can inside a can. This is a ravioli can inside a number 10 can. Just use a church key and my pocket knife to make it. It's not smoking much at all. So you can build your own stove, as most of you know, and you can step it up to a fancy BioLite with a thermoelectric generator in there. That'll make electricity, and I'll prove that to you. We've got a couple rocket stoves here, the prep stove and the StoveTech are burning nicely, and they just take regular biomass. Any sticks you can just feed in to control temperature. And I've got a few backpacking stoves, real light. The Emberlit stove here, you can see it burning. Nice about these stoves, they're super light. And here's a Firebox stove, and it allows you to have a contained fire excuse me, when you're out bushcrafting or whatever. If you're out in the woods, they can be very handy because they're light, but they do smoke a lot, but it's a fire that's contained and easily controlled. The wood gas camp stove here uses a little fan and motor. I started this one last, so it's starting to get going right now. It's pretty windy out here too, so I'll move some things out of the way. There she goes. It's starting to gasify right now. So between the wood gas camp stove and the BioLite, they're gasifier stoves. This isn't really a gasifier stove, but it has 2 stages of burning, primary and secondary, so it does a nice job. Rocket stoves use an insulated jacket around the fire area. Same with the StoveTech or this prep stove. And so you just feed these manually a little more. Some of the stoves are just fill them up, and you can add. With the rocket stoves, you're kind of constantly feeding them. So anyway, I just wanted to show you. Got 7 stoves. I have 8 stoves on the table. Got 7 stoves running. I didn't fire up both gasifier stoves. One's just a small version of the other, and there's a fireplace that I didn't get going either. But anyway, with any of these, you can make electricity. Well, I got these fires going. Just wanted to show you, make a little electricity here. So I'm using the power pot, and bear with me a second. See the green lights on here in a power pot. This is on my little gasifier stove. It's not really a gasifier stove, it's my little can stove. So hold on while I plug this light in. And then you can see that I've got LEDs. So I've got a light. When I know I got this light, I know I can charge my phone as well, or any other USB device. So to charge a battery or whatever you might have that's USB, it will do it. So it comes with all different types of adapters. So it's super easy to start, super easy to make this, and I could move it over to, I'm going to move my power pot over to a variety of stoves. I'm actually going to set it on the BioLite. So the BioLite now gives me two ways to make power. So I moved it over here and I got lights. So I got a green light here, so that means I can plug a USB into that. So, and then I can also heat water for food, and while I'm doing that I can make power. So next stove, let's bring it over here and set her on the prep stove. Very simple biomass stove, and same, making power, making electricity off of that. Very simple. Pretty much fits on all stoves. I'm on the rocket stove, bigger rocket stove now. You gotta be careful. You go too big, you get the fire licking up around the power pot, and you will burn your wires unless you're careful. But you can regulate it and control it by how many sticks and how fast you push them in. All right. Even on the Emberlit is a good size for the power pot. So I'm still making power off a little Emberlit stove. I can feed wood in here through my feeder hole, but it breathes real well. And for the firebox, I need to put my pot stays on top so I don't drop the stove. And then I can take the power pot, set her over on here, and do the same. So pretty much all these stoves are capable of giving you some ability to make power. Let's see, I need move this thing over. Forgive me on the shaky video. Just going to set this over here on the gasifier stove and go to the next stove, which is a gasifier stove, and that will produce power for about 45 minutes without having to feed it. And you can see they're all burning nicely. But with 6, 7 stoves, you got to keep feeding, keep putting wood in them. But they're pretty much all contained. You don't see fire getting out of control or going where you don't want it to go. So still making power. Pretty much all the stoves making power. So I've gone around the block here. I'm going to take this power pot off. I also, as you've seen me do this before, it's more of a heavier duty, little bit more power, but this 30 watt. So the BioLite is 2 watt, power pot 5 watt, and here's a 30 watt option where I can hook this thing up and charge the 12 volt battery. So I guess that's it. I wanted to show you a bunch of different stoves. Getting into winter time and our fall, getting cold, just made me want to start some fires. So I'll show you the wood cook stove in the house, as well as the other stoves that we use to cook. And the main reason for doing this, just to give you some ideas, a lot of ways to cook, can. I also have some accessories, some pasteurizers and canners and ovens that can go on any of these stoves. But for the most part, when I meet preppers that are either getting started or even seasoned preppers, they do not have enough ways to cook all the food that they've stored. And they're talking about 6 months of food or a year's supply of food or whatever. They don't have the fuel to actually cook all those rice and beans. So, and I challenge you to figure out how much wood you need, how much energy you need, or if you're going to use propane, you better figure out how you're going to have enough stored so that you can cook all that food. As I don't think I've met hardly anyone that has their stoves or their cooking methods down where they can be sustainable for a long period of time. I just chose wood because it's a resource that's sustainable and readily available, at least in my location. So you really need to think through, do you have enough fuel to cook all the food? You know, some of these recipes for rice and beans take 12 hours. Okay, that'll you're not going to cook that on your little solar deal. You're not going to do that with your propane Coleman camp stove, at least not for many days. So you better have a way to cook, can, boil water, stay clean, take a shower. So again, just showing you a bunch of different ideas. Okay, Engineer 775 signing off from the fire table. Sometimes when you run out of food, you might have to eat your pets. I'm just kidding. Here we have Max. We could have some fried Max. No, don't let the kids hear Engineer 775 say that, or that would be the end of him. Hey Max, you like that warm stone? Oh yeah, he's going to sleep. No. What's up, Max? Whoa. Say hello to everyone. Okay, enough of that, back to cooking. Here's our wood cook stove in the house. We've had since 97, I think. 96, 97. It's a Mennonite made stove up in Canada. It's a Flame View. It's a nice stove. We've cooked on it quite a bit. And fired it up for the winter time. What's nice about it, it's got a good oven in it. Oven's on 400 degrees right now. And oh yeah, heat's just rolling out of there. Yeah, wow. Yeah. You're supposed to use a pot holder, but I'm not that smart. Got a lot of adjustments, dampers. Anyway, wood cook stove, one of the best inventions of all time. Just, they look nice. They make delicious food. Breads, biscuits, you name it. Cakes. It takes a while to get used to them and how to cook. And so anyway, another cooking option for you.